Hello, today we have a VOD review on Lijiang Tower. Looks like a diamond tracer. All right, cool. So I've never seen this video before, so I'll be commenting in real time. So let's get into it. So you're running Winston, Mercy, McCree, Tracer. Who else are you running? Zenyatta. And then who's your sixth man? Oh, it's okay. All right, I guess we don't quite know yet. That's okay. So based on that, we got a Winston. Oh, so probably you either have another DPS or another tank. So, okay. Okay, cool. So we'll figure that out in a second because based on the comps, I usually like to decide how people should play. I love doing VOD reviews as Tracer because she is probably the character, maybe like top 3 characters that I think so many people play incorrectly. And there's just one thing you have to do that's gonna easily elevate your gameplay. Like aside from the obvious stuff, like just team fight better and have better aim and better tracking, things like that. So from a strategic perspective, the number one thing I don't see Tracers do enough is flank. You want to be patient. You want to take the time to get behind your opponents, not just on the sides. Like I don't want soft flanking. I want hard, deep flanking where you're getting behind your opponents and you're causing a ton of pressure. Pressure wins games. So that's it. Like if you can just do that, that is the number one thing that's going to win you games. So first off, it looks like you're going left here. So it looks like you're going to take this route and then go around your opponents. I love it. This is exactly what I want to start seeing. And if they have an enemy Tracer or Genji, they're going to be doing the same thing. So you're going to have like a 1v1 situation. Or unless their team's doing something a little bit unorthodox for solo queue. So anyways, that's enough setup. Focus on that and I'm sure you'll do great. So when I do Tracer reviews, that's almost always like the number one problem people have. So I'm just kind of guessing here. So let's see what happens. It sounds a bit quiet. Let's see if we can turn this up. Okay, so this is okay. I would like a deeper flank where you go. Cool. Actually, I really like that you turn around to see your teammates. That's excellent. So I would like you to go this way and get a really deep flank. The problem is for the first round or for the first like fight, your team, it's solo queue. They're not going to wait for you. They're just going to go and bash their head against the wall. So for this situation particularly, it's okay that you're kind of being impatient and just going for this quicker route, which in my opinion is the less effective route. But again, it's solo queue, so you have to take that into account. Yeah, so this is okay. Cool, so you're collapsing. Nice. This is good. Yeah, this is about what I'd expect. Okay. Oh, a little bit. I'm not quite sure. Why did you recall? Yeah, a little bit early on the recall. I don't think you were under. I would have liked to see more blinks. Okay, your McCree just fragged out, so that's cool. So now it's time to get aggressive. You don't have recall, so okay, nice. You're keeping. So actually, I'm really happy with your spacing right now. And then your recall's about to come up. Nice. I love it. This is great. Obviously, your McCree really crushed it there, or the rest of your team, let's say. Okay, so now what do? The fight's already won. Like you did earlier, where you look to see where your teammates are. I'd like you to do that now and see how deep they're going in, and kind of match that. If they're going in harder, you go hard with them. If they back off, you back off. And then once that's kind of settled, now you look for a deep flanking route. So we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, cool. So it actually looks like you're doing it already. So basically, I want you in this general area contesting this flank. So what that means is if they send an enemy Genji or Tracer this way, you probably back off. You do a little dance with them, see if they respect you. Maybe they back off, then you can push forward. If they keep pushing you, maybe you back off. Just kind of play it by ear based on how the fight goes. And then in solo queue, I bet you like 50% of the time, they're just going to leave this open. And when they do leave that open, boom, you ride in on the back and you flank them hard. So, cool. No, it looks like, oh no, I thought you were going to go that way. Oh, I'm so sad. So this is exactly what I don't want you to do. So we talked about earlier, that fight, the first fight, it's okay, right? Because it's solo queue and you don't have time. That time you had so much time to get into position. All right, so yeah, and actually I don't mind you collapsing to help out your backline here, but they're putting a lot of pressure on your backline. It's kind of your job as Tracer to put pressure on their backline. So in my opinion, that's kind of a failure. We'll see how you do though. Look for a better target. Look for a better target. Yeah, and Ana's a great target. Oh, man. Let me see that again. So that whole time, you had 3 blinks for a while. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 4 or 5 seconds that you had 3 blinks. So need you to use your blinks more. That recall, I think, was an okay one. I think you were under threat of dying, so that's fine. Okay, so even now, you have time to go get a flank on that far left side. Similar to what we talked about earlier. Literally the same thing. If you can do that again... oh, nice kill, though. Nice. That was pretty stupid of their Tracer. Actually, so, like, that Tracer is kind of the style that I see all the time when I'm doing VODs of Tracer. Like, she'll just run up... like kind of like a frontliner, like, oh, I'm a Winston, or oh, I'm a diva. Like I'm gonna look at you. We're gonna look at each other. I'm gonna run towards you and try to fight you. That's not what Tracer does. Tracer is supposed to get behind her opponents and fight. So that was a good example of what not to do. And it feels like, you know, you're a little better than that, because I feel like you're kind of doing these soft flanks on the side, yeah. So, and actually right now you're doing what I want. This is exactly the kind of flank I'm talking about, where your opponents. You're basically sandwiching your opponents with yourself and the rest of your team. So this is good, except I want you to be more to the right. I want you more like in this area, right? Like in deeper territory. And then once your team goes in, you go in hard. You want to poke it first, and then you can, you know, like we talked about earlier, like match the aggression of your teammates. Good. So now you're pulling attention. This is good. This is kind of what you want. And on that note, there's 2 styles of flanking. There's like the sneak flank, where you're crouching, you're being sneaky, you don't want anyone to see you, and then boom, you explode on someone with a pulse bomb or like a full clip into a Zenyatta, things like that. The second style is when you're just trying to like pull attention and make them scared and pressure them and kind of massage them into a sticky situation. We won't go into that now about like when and how to do both. Both are really effective, and in a single match, you should probably be combining both. Just to kind of like switch it up, keep your opponent guessing. Yeah, so in this case, you were doing the latter. You were kind of just putting pressure, letting them know you're there. That's cool. Great pulse bomb. Let's kind of look at that again. Yeah, so like pulse bomb's always easier when you're doing it from your opponent's back. So excellent, I love it. Boom. Yeah, and I guess in this case, kind of to the side, but still going. Oh, nice. Cool. Clean up the fight, and then get into that position we talked about. Okay. I feel like you're ignoring this Winston way too much. You got to look up, my friends. Oh, yeah, that's... I feel like you maybe just got lazy there. I'm not quite sure why you do that. That was a pretty silly thing, in my opinion, that you took so long. Okay, so right here, you have to be really careful. You don't have recall. And this Ana could sleep dart you, so I'm a little bit nervous that you're going this deep without recall. And respect that Zenyatta. Is that a Zenyatta? I think that was a Zenyatta. Oh man, yeah, and you need to work on your aim a bit. Okay. Dueling with the Tracer. Boom. Okay. Was she in melee range? Or melee, like, kill range? Oh, I can't quite see, but maybe. Alright. So this isn't where I want you. Again, I want you on that far left side. I want you, yeah, here, yes, exactly. No, go back. Okay. Alright, so, to be honest, I think I've already seen enough of your VOD to kind of cut the feedback here. I don't like to give too much feedback into like one session. So your number one problem, and this is true of pretty much every Tracer I've ever seen, and this is a problem I see in professional matches sometimes, where Tracers just do not flank nearly enough. And you know, to be fair, there are definitely times when you don't have time to flank, or the situation just isn't necessary to flank, so things like that. But really, you should be flanking like at least 50% of the time. In every fight, I would say half of those fights at least should be fights where you're starting off from a flank. Yeah, like this, except again, I want a deeper flank. So your number one problem right now is I need you flanking more often and deeper. So I think you're flanking a pretty good amount, more than I would say most Tracers I've done VOD reviews on. But second, I'd say the more important thing you need to work on is going for deeper flanks. The deeper the flank, the better, almost always. And as Tracer, when things are going south, that's okay. You just run away, and like it's really hard to catch a Tracer, even if she's on your side of the map. You know, assuming that you're being smart about your blinks and your recalls. You're not just throwing them away. So deeper flanks. Let's see what else. Your aiming seems, for this level for diamond, I would say your aiming is probably roughly diamond level, maybe slightly less, but I think it's okay. That being said, if you want to hit like GM, you're gonna need to up your aim. If you want to hit like just masters, you could probably just work on just your aim, or like, you know, more the strategic stuff we're talking about flanking. But you'll need to work on both, I think, if you want to hit GM. The other thing is your blink usage. I think actually your ability usage in general, not super stellar. I have overall with your blinks, I feel like you're being a little bit greedy and not using them enough. Usually Tracers have the other problem where they blink too much. You're probably slightly on the other side of the spectrum. You're not like crazy on the other extreme, but I would say you need to tone up your blink usage just a little bit. We're talking maybe like 25%, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, so don't be afraid to do a little bit more dancing with your blinks. Like that one time where you held on to it, you had 3 blinks and you didn't use it at all for like 4 or 5 seconds. So big blunder there. Cool. So work on those things, and I think you could easily climb with this feedback. So cool. I hope this video was helpful, and if you liked it, please subscribe. Thank you.